Get your tea, get your orange juice, your vitamin C, because we got some powerful sisters coming on here today to represent the ACCEL school system. I'm so excited. They're going to tell us about what our babies been saying about us on virtual learning. How about that, parents and grandparents and caregivers? All them little secrets they telling the teachers. But I just throwing that in so we can lighten up the show a little bit. But I want to take this time and introduce these powerful women that's standing before our babies, giving them all they got. And we start with you, Miss Miles, and you begin to tell us something about you, and we'll go down to Miss Doss and Miss Bankston, and I'm quite sure Miss Dillard is coming in. Take it away, Miss Miles.
Good morning, Lady Gilmore and audience. I'm so happy to be here today. My name is Ashley Miles. I am the principal of Akron Preparatory School. I come to you with 15 years experience in education with 2 master's degrees and now just working on my doctorate degree from Baylor. So I'm very excited to be here with these wonderful panel of my sisters, because we all labor together, and also to discuss about what we see every day in this new era that we have entered into education.
Thank you. Okay, Miss Goss.
Good morning, Lady Gilmore, and good morning, everyone. I am Darlene Goss, the principal of Euclid Preparatory School. I have been the founding principal of that school since our inception. This is our 4th year running, and I've been in education and with this network for going on 9 years now. So I am very excited just to be a part of this and to have this conversation with you ladies. The work that we do is so important. So I'm just honored to even be a part of it, to give back to our kids and our families and our communities. So I'm just excited about what I do every day.
Isn't that nice? We're excited about what we do every day. I really like that. Yeah. All right, Miss Bankston.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, KAZ Radio. Thank you, Lady Gilmore, for having us on today. We are certainly honored to be here. I'm Atisha Bankston. I serve as Regional Vice President at the ACCEL Schools Network. I serve as STEAM Academy of Warrensville Heights, Cleveland Preparatory Academy, Wright Preparatory Academy in Canton, and oh my goodness, sometimes I lose count. I can't believe I forgot my other school. I'm sorry. Don't get angry with me. Okay, let me run down the list again. Cleveland Preparatory Academy on the west side of Cleveland in the Brooklyn area. CASA, Cleveland Arts and Social Sciences Academy on Shaker Boulevard, STEAM Academy of Warrensville Heights in Warrensville, and Wright Preparatory Academy in Canton. I've been in education for 21 years, and I've served as everything from a 3rd grade teacher, principal, of course, and then in my current role as RVC. It's certainly a pleasure to be able to work as was stated before, laboring in this particular season. It's been some challenges, but we are working through it. And, just excited to still be able to have families to serve for the way that we do so at ACCEL, which I know we'll be talking about a little bit later. But it's even though it's a difficult time, I think there are those moments where we're able to have some great times with our kids. So it's a pleasure to be here.
And thank you all so very much. It's a pleasure to have you. One thing that I love about this is working together works. Absolutely. As all of us have realized that it's not about us, it's about our babies. And to hear them say in your introduction, your education, what you do and how much you love, you know how many people we can inspire with that? All of our children out there that's listening and looking, because you all are the mamas of the day. We just got to call it like it is.
That is so
all of the mamas of the day. Can I talk to you, Miss Miller, Miss Miles?
Yes.
Miss Banks, huh? So when we get through with all of that, we still have our teaching hat on.
Yep.
Amen?
Yep.
Amen. We still have our teaching hat on to help our babies along the way. Thank you so very much. We're going to give Miss Dillard a couple more minutes because technology is something else. All right, Pastor. Hallelujah. 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 This is part 3. Isn't this something? We started out with part 1 with our young men.
ACCEL Schools, we believe families deserve quality education and offer 17 K-12 tuition-free public schools throughout Cleveland. Based on community demand, we're proud to offer our families learning options this fall. Choose traditional learning 5 days on campus with additional safety protocols, 100% online learning, or a combination of both. It's your choice. Our outstanding teachers provide a safe, supportive environment that will meet the needs of your family. Enrollment is easy and free. Call 216-750-2945 to get started today.
I'm loving the commercial. It's very, very nice. But you know what? I want us to sit back because I got so many questions to ask in such a short amount of time. But what I like to do is, how are the 2 phases of the pandemics affecting our children and our parents as well? So let's start with you, Ms. Miles.
So as you know, over 98% of my school is African American, and we're in the east end part of Akron. So we're right in the inner city Akron. And so with that, we see a lot of different things. We see an increase in hunger. We see an increase in having to cohabitate with other family members. Our top main thing is the social and emotional needs that our scholars really are suffering from. We have it at a much higher level already pre-pandemic, but now with this pandemic, it has increased drastically because some of the scholars, they had to be home and their parents work those essential jobs that they have either have lost or their hours have increased, and the scholars are at home taking care of themselves. And there's a lot of other things that we know that
connection is unstable,
that our population have to deal with, as far as domestic violence and gang activity. Me, myself, I've lost a parent and a young lady, a 6-year-old, due to gun violence in there. So there's a lot of things that our parents and our scholars are dealing with right now.
It's so sad and it hurts our hearts, but we have to pray and keep going because we can't stop. Ms. Goss, how does the emotional affecting your children?
Yeah, at the very beginning, when we were fully virtual, we were seeing, our parents and our kids. It's not just the children, it's the parents and the children. Yeah. And to be honest, when your parents are stressed out, it affects your kids. So when we were getting an influx of calls with our parents just being frustrated, we were seeing that when it came to our kids' performance in their schoolwork online. We had some kids that just weren't showing up. So when we were calling them, reaching out, we actually developed a sort of a call system between myself and the leaders, where we divided our entire school up and we call everybody every single week. Because to be honest, our virtual kids, our school is like a family, and we are so used to seeing our kids. We treat everybody like a family. When you walk into Euclid Prep, you feel like this your auntie, this your mama's house, and now they're away from us. They don't see us. They're not getting hugs from me, from their teachers. So we had to call them. And I had a parent say, my daughter just feels so disconnected from her friends, from her classmates, and it's just very, very, very tough on them. So when we moved to having our 3 modalities back and we started getting our kids in the building, now they're having face-to-face conversations with us and telling us like this was going on at home. Sometimes our kids weren't eating. If they weren't at school, they weren't eating. So if you're not eating, how can you perform well in school? Right. So it's just all a trickle down effect. And when we talk about social and emotional and their well-being and their health, school is a big part of that for kids. Just the interaction that you have with your other classmates, with your teachers, that is a big part of who they are. And we've taken that completely away from them. So a lot of our kids are just literally trying to find themselves and find their way. And you had off of what Principal Miles said, we have families who are really going through some domestic issues with parents, people who they're not used to being in the house with all the time.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
And now those personalities are coming out. So they're
Yes.
starting to feel the effects of that. And that stresses kids out. So we're
Yes, it
seeing
does.
that in their academic performance and their behaviors and just how they're showing up for live sessions. So it's tough for everyone, for the parents, for the teachers, and even for us, for the teachers, for the kids. It's different, and everybody is going through a lot when it comes to their social emotional health. So just providing services for them. We've partnered with some services in our community just
praise
to
God.
that extra support to them. So we're just trying everything that we can to try to keep everybody sane in this time.
Keeps us praying, doesn't it, Ms. Bankston? Keeps us praying. Keeps
Certainly
us praying.
does. It
Share
certainly
with
does.
us your heartfelt sentiments as well.
So I know that you know, for our schools, the challenge, of course, was certainly something that had to be met with a lot of different perspectives. So you had to certainly not see things in the way that you would do so in a normal school year. You had to consider things that you did not have to consider in a previous school year. You had to make adjustments. You had to make allowances. You had to take and understand that while your parent may have selected virtual learning, for the safety of their student, maybe they didn't readily have access to internet, or maybe there was some issues with transients, or maybe there were some issues with who was going to be at home servicing the students. So all these different factors and so much more have come out as a result of having to provide education in this way. The good thing that I can say is that our leaders, our schools, our teachers have risen to the occasion in a way that I did not even know was possible. People, while they may continue and hear things, we've got increases in cases and things of that nature. Many of our educators and all of our school leaders are staying the course. And so it's a sentiment to those that are dedicated to education, to the education of children, to make sure that families are cared for. People reaching out, even prior to the school year, the things that we did to visit the homes, to send letters, to have conversations, to meet with parents, all those things done in the preliminary of the school year. And then for the school year to start, and it's like, okay, now we have to continue to gear up to keep momentum going. So it wasn't just like we did all these things like in a normal school year, you do all your events, and then you get to the school year and you're like, okay, I can do this. This is fine. No, ma'am, you had to keep going. And it's really like full steam ahead every single day because something else comes up. These leaders know you may get a certain report and you find out that you've got about 5 or 6 kids that just haven't logged on in a week. And you're like, what in the world is going on? Let me get on the phone and call so and see what's going on. And, then you find out we've had this loss in our family. We had to move. Something happened with my mother's, my father or my mother or my auntie or my uncle, all these different family circumstances that just make it nearly impossible. And then also just something that really resonates with me. Our parents want to keep their students safe. And you have to remember, even though they've selected virtual learning, they may also struggle with working with their students on these devices and in the curriculum. And so schools are having virtual sessions with parents, inviting them to the schools to come do drop-in sessions, visiting them at their homes, giving them different options. And so still there's a learning curve for our families, but there's still many of them still want to stay the course. They want their children to learn virtually, or they want them to come in a hybrid model, or they want them to come traditionally. But all of these things do come with their own set of circumstances that I think, our leaders are doing a great job at just trying to make adjustments and really in some ways, not always, because we do have plans and we, sometimes the best laid plans don't always work out, but we do have plans. But some days, to be honest, can be like a maze, just really trying to figure out which way to turn to make sure that you reach your end goal, and I'm just being real, this is not RBT Bankston, this is Itisha talking. Because
Amen. Thank you.
Be like that, where you're trying to just figure out which way to go and to make sure that you reach that end successfully.
Thank you so much. You all are speaking from your heart. Peace and good morning, Miss Dillard. How are you?
Lady Gilmore, it is always a pleasure to see you. How are you doing today?
I said that. I said, here come one of my babies now. I tried not to say it. I'm
That's
doing
okay.
well.
Miss Bankston was preaching. She just shared everything in a nutshell that we're
Yes,
going
really.
through. She wrapped that up with a
I'm
bow.
telling you, but we're gonna have you take the thread and bind it into the cord. How about that? So that's
Right.
what my Miss Dillard getting ready to do for us. Talk to us, daughter.
This pandemic is, and forgive me, I'm in my school building and I have steam heat, so you hear the clanking is coming on.
That's all right.
This pandemic has shown the importance and the relevancy of what a teacher does. And a teacher being a principal, an assistant principal, the office manager, the janitor, the lunch aide, it has showed the importance of what it means to be a community that a student can go into and feel safe, 7 hours, 8 hours a day, and the necessity for what we do. If that can be the one positive we can highlight from this. But as Ms. Bankston said, it also showed the ugly underbelly where we have to look at 3 different modalities, and we're offering these things because we are a community school and school of choice. And our parents say, hey, I don't want my kid there. It's the pandemic, so I'm going to keep my kid at home. Great, we have that option. Well, you know what? I really have to work. So can they come every day? Because I don't really have any childcare for them. We have that option within reason. And some say, you know what, I like the idea of them there a little bit, but them at home so I can keep my eye on them. And we have that. And navigating those 3 completely different learning styles every day with 3 completely different attendances that occur with that. And as Ms. Bankston said, we see a kid that hasn't logged on for 5 days, our alarm bells go off. We're starting to call and we find out that it's more than, oh, my mom didn't get me up. It's we haven't had heat, Miss D, for the past 5 days or the past week. And we're trying to get community resources together for these young parents to say, hey, you don't have to do this alone. Don't forget, we as the community are here for you. So it really shined a light on holistically educating the child. Not just is beyond what's in the books right now. This is beyond education. We have become America's babysitters, basically. And we're taking care of these kids in their parents' time of need so they can keep a roof over their head and educating at the same time.
And see, that's what we're talking about. Don't worry about the clinking, because it was the time when our ancestors didn't have any heat at all. And them teachers, just like you all, still stood up there in the cold teaching our babies. So don't worry about the clinking, because now that's really letting me know another part of what you are going through. But as we go through this pandemic, COVID-19 with our babies, they already was dealing with that transition. And then in comes Black Lives Matter. As Miles spoke about that one of your students, the mother and the child. Now here's something else that's piled on top of no food, no heat, and the list goes on and on. So now as we all shift to transition B, it's not a B, it's an A. All of this is priority. So when you hear from a child who has lost a sibling or the mother, I mean, how did you change gears so quick like that? Anybody can jump in, because we're here together as a family to help a family.
We've also lost a staff member, and it happened so suddenly, for us, and it's a very beloved staff member, and to have to turn around and close school so that we as the educators inside the building can grieve, then have to go out and figure out the messaging for our families at home and allow them to have a day of grieving as well, and still juggle dealing with the pandemic and still juggle dealing with social unrest. This has been an unbelievable school year. I just, between the end of last school year and now, unbelievable. And they're struggling. And we're calling in as many community health organizations as we can. We're calling, and then can they really come in, or can they just call on the phone? You got to get them connected. You have to juggle all of this, and it's unreal. And I know that was off topic, but it's
No, please don't, because what my listeners has been sharing with me, even when I have the brothers on, how honest you all have been, because we don't know what you're really going through. We can see the surface. You know, when you make that peach cobbler, I have to bring that in because my mother made the best. When you make that peach cobbler, you whooping that crust together, and we're putting everything in. So this is what this is. We have to come out of teacher mode, go into survival mode now, really. This is survival, and to see and feel what our babies are actually going through. They trust y'all. They telling y'all your secrets, their secrets of what they're going through at home. And then you all from your heart is contacting, all four of you has said it. You reach out to agencies, reaching out for help. It ain't like, girls, shh, we can't say nothing there. I'm quite sure you guys are calling up each other, talking. Can you help a sister do this? I don't know what to do. We need one another. I'm using the word sister so strong, like I did with our brothers, because we have to take these titles off and just keep it 100. We are a family that's responsible for our children. Miss Goss, I'm
Yes.
looking at you. All of y'all got tears in your eyes. And see, I put on my makeup this morning. Now y'all fixing to start. I'm feeling all of you's energy.
Yeah.
Ms. Doss, share with us how it has affected you and your baby.
Yeah. You know, I want to just elaborate on something you said about the women on this call. Ms. Bankston, honey, you sister now. So when you say we call each other, we call each other. Because to be honest, we're the only ones who know what we're going through. And in the spirit of honesty, we are Black women running schools that are 90+% Black kids. So we have to make sure that we are being real with ourselves and who we are. And that's one thing that I came into this school year. The summer was really hard for me. When the pandemic, when I came back to work, I was on maternity leave. I actually came back into work virtually. So through all of that, then you have George Floyd and everything happening throughout the summer. So when our teachers came back, we had this whole elaborate training plan, and we sat there and I said, we can't do this. We can't do this the way that we've always done it. We can't prepare our teachers the same way that we prepare them every year. We have to prepare them a different way. So what a lot of us did, and what I did with my teachers, was I developed this teaching for change, and teaching in an urban environment PD for them. And it was an all-day workshop where they literally had to talk about their biases. They had to talk about the most uncomfortable things that they could ever talk about with each other, about race, about inequality, about equity. And you had to make them face it, because a lot of them have never faced it before.
Mhm.
But this, you have to face it now, because your kids are going to challenge you, because they know what's going on in the world. They're seeing the protests. It was shut down downtown. Our kids know that.
Oh,
So
yes.
guess what? When you have a staff, like my staff, we're about mixed. I have about half of my staff is Caucasian and younger. And I have another half of my staff who are Black. And my Caucasian teachers had to be prepared for these conversations. They had to be prepared for when they're sitting in the classroom and something happens and your kids challenge you about it. You have to be able to have this conversation without it being uncomfortable. So what we really took the stand on this year was allowing our kids that voice, giving them the voice, and not being scared when they challenge us with certain questions, and actually having the conversations. Because what a lot of teachers do is they'll shy away from them. Well, it's not time to talk about that right now. No, it is time to talk about that right now. It's always time to talk about this right now. Because in order for me to respect you as my teacher, I need to know that you respect me as an individual and as a person. So that was very important for us coming into this school year. And I will unapologetically say it. I'm Black. and I'm running a Black school. And I need for my Black kids to understand that we are all here with you, no matter what color we are, no matter how different we are. We're from the suburbs, the cities, everywhere, but we're all the same, and we have the same goal and mission in mind. So that's always going into this year. That's been my message. We have our new hashtag is EPS for change. That's what we're preaching right now, is just being the change in the world that we want to see. We all know that quote. So I tell everybody, we need to be the school for change that we want to see in education. So in order for us to do that, we have to set an example, and I'm not afraid to, to set that example.
Thank you so much.
Amen.
Miss Dawes. Miss Bankston, I seen you wiping tears, honey. Share how you feel.
I think I think the thing that I think about the most is the parents. I think about, because everybody has their own individual story, and all of these stories collectively impact the school because it impacts the student, and the student attends the school. And so thinking about the struggles and the difficulties and people's responses to the things that took place over the summer, and pandemic and civil unrest, and then political issues, and then just all these different things. And we would be, of course, remiss, not only that, not even doing our jobs if we didn't allow students the space to talk about these things, and giving them the opportunity to understand. Our leaders, the leaders at the schools that I work with, have focused more so on advocacy and leadership for students. And so in doing so, they've been able to show students in this particular environment, yes, we're angry, yes, we're frustrated. Here's how we can advocate for ourselves. And this is what that looks like when you get ready to speak about something that you feel is unjust, because there will be times when you have to do that. And when you have to respond to things that you see, showing them how to advocate for themselves and how to speak those things articulately. And it really even goes down to the very basics of understanding which words to use. And so I'm seeing educators weave in that type of thing. The other thing that I'm seeing is leadership development for our students. We've gone back to, having in-school elections. I don't know how many of you leaders got a chance to do that this time around, but some of our schools did in-school elections, and a lot of them, have went to talking about the focus of what it takes to be a leader in your community, and having the responsibility of doing so. And while it may be it's not too broad of a topic for students to understand. You can teach it so a child can get it. And while there are these things that hurt and that bother and that have been egregious toward the Black community, we can empower so that we can respond appropriately, so that we can make sure that when we're saying these things that we feel, that we're able to get change, that we're able to get some forward movement and some progress. And so that's what I'm seeing our leaders focus on. And I couldn't be happier of the perspective that they've taken. Even for the ladies on this call, I couldn't be happier to see, yes, we're talking about it, but we're not going to allow the things that have happened to Black people as a whole keep us in a place of anger and frustration. We're going to speak about this, and we're going to do something about it. We're going to be these catalysts for change, and we're going to do so equipped with education, and also understanding our purpose as people and as people of color. So yeah, that's what our schools are doing. And it's different from your reading, math, science, and social studies, but then in some ways they also weave it in. So it's a delicate thing to manage, but I'm seeing them do it.
Thank you so very much. Miss Miles, I'm smelling your energy, your heartbeat, honey. So you share with us what you've been doing.
Thank you. First, I want to say that in order for us to be able to have the space to make this change, ACCEL has given us the platform to be able to do that. So I want to say that, because a lot of school districts we have seen have not really given their leaders to do that. Our RVP, which is not on here, her name is Heather, she was like all over it and just wanted us to make sure we made a stance on our social media page and within the school building. So it allowed us the opportunity to be able to have the platform to be our authentic selves and to be able to make that change. And so within my school, as well as doing a lot of things that Euclid Prep is doing, I have a different dynamic where 80% of my staff is Caucasian. And so we have really, they want to be able to support our students, but they don't know how.
Mhm.
They don't know what to say. And, you know, we've had situations where when we were going through different scenarios where we were dealing with our own professional development prior to the scholars coming in, we've had, you know, them talk, and I allowed them to speak because I understand that they don't know what to say. So I had a staff member just say, well, I support, you know, all of the Black children. I have Black friends. Well, that's one thing that we will not say, because you just don't say that we don't need you to try to relate. We want you to support. And support looks, as Principal, you know, Darlene said, is that support looks like you allow them that space to be able to have these authentic conversations. Don't try to relate, because it's not the same and you will not understand. We need you to listen and hear what the scholars are saying and be aware. The best thing you do is educate yourself and be aware of what is going on. So I've had to continue. So that let me know as a principal, I need to continue to educate my staff so that they know what is going on. So we have partnered with a organization that is an African-American based organization in our community that comes in, and we have monthly professional development. Ms. Bankston spoke, you know, about the professional developments that we're doing. We have a wonderful person also named Dr. Jesse Jackson. I don't know if you heard of him, who comes in and he is all, you know, all about educating, you know, staff and coaching them on how to deal with things during this, you know, additional pandemic that we have of this social injustice. And so that is one approach that we have taken, and it has helped. It has helped, and the scholars are working through their artwork and getting their voice heard in multiple ways, other than, you know, the violence and things that we have seen that's been in our community.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Dillard. God bless you. We pray the building has warmed up for you.
It
Did
has.
you share?
Thank you.
Thank you. On a Saturday. See, when you're committed, we're committed. And when
Well,
it's coming from the heart, it makes a difference. Talk to us, please.
We have a Saturday school, and this is our kickoff Saturday. So we had to be in the building. What a lot of my colleagues said in regards to what it looked like educating our teachers and our staff when we came into this school year, we couldn't do business as usual, as Principal Goss said. On the flip side, I have a 90% African-American staff. And it has been that way probably since the inception, and we opened here in 2012. So I had to address bias from a different standpoint, because because you believe you understand the struggle, sometimes you can discredit or discount what a youngster may be feeling because you've already arrived or you've already been through it and made it over to this side, and you may not give them the voice that they need to have. And so we too use Dr. Jesse Jackson. We have a local company called ODS Supports with the owner, Chris King, and they have come in and we've talked with our staff about how to navigate the minefield with what our kids are feeling. We're seeing it in our older kids, especially our males. They're exhibiting behaviors that they don't normally exhibit. And it's because they did not know how to talk about what they were seeing. It was information overload. The news was throwing everything at them. They have family here, so they knew the protests were happening downtown. And then throw on that COVID thing, and Principal D, what is all of this? And so it was having our staff don't sit on your degree right now. Like, your degree doesn't mean anything right now.
Amen.
To be the teacher you would have wanted at this kid's age, at this time, and speak to that kid and let that kid's heart talk to you. And that really changed the dynamic of how we started our school year. As Ms. Bankston said, it wasn't reading, social studies, math, and science. Let's throw that out for a second.
Mhm.
How are you? Let's talk. What's
Yes.
going on? We haven't seen you since February. What's happening? Our kids that have went off to high school now, they didn't get their normal 8th grade. We know we do a graduation where all of our schools come together.
Mhm. That was
They
my
didn't
next
do that.
question.
So they're still connected to us emotionally. So they're reaching out saying, what do we do? What does high school look like now? And it's like, well, wait, let's figure out where you go to school. Okay. Hopefully your school has this program set up. Let me contact that principal, which was nothing that I would have had to think about normally, because the handoff would have been a little different.
Mhm.
And so it's, as we stated, time and time again, this has just been a different ball game this year. And it calls on you having to be much more than an educator. The caps that we're wearing are mama, auntie, pastor, social worker, friend, confidant. We're wearing all these hats at one time and have our own kids and family and things that we're dealing with. So
Yeah.
I applaud you ladies on the call, because this is more than a notion. It really is.
And our preparation, stay there, Ms. Dillon, a moment, please. Every question that I've prepared myself, I did my research. Thank you, Lord. You guys are bringing it out, and it's making the interview be so smoothly. And I appreciate that. Thank you so very much. And the programs, I look back at my notes, and Ms. Dillon has a program, SEL, SEL.
Well, it's social emotional learning. It's a program that we've actually had a couple years now. It just kicked into gear more with
Okay.
the things that were going on. And it's just a process, a thought process through the children and the adults. They learn how to effectively apply the knowledge and attitude and skills necessary to make positive choices, to show empathy for others, especially, now. To put true words to what they're feeling and not act in anger. And it's just common sense mama upbringing that somebody threw a fancy title on. That's all
That's
it
all.
is.
Yes, all it
That's all
is, really.
So we do that in-house. And then, as is true for the children, has to be true for the staff as well. So we also make sure that we provide social emotional education and professional development for them through people like Dr. Jesse Jackson, through ODS, and then myself. So we keep it going that way. I think our other sister locations, they do either something similar or the same program themselves. So I will toss it over to one of them.
Amen. Amen. I'm so excited. I have to keep saying it because I want to encourage my new daughters. I'm going to call you Miss Dillon and Miss Goss and Miss Miles and Miss Bankston today, but how the Lord has connected us with the love of our heart for our children. I want to take a moment to say kudos to Danette Render of Dar Public Relations. She's an awesome sister, and she's just like us, to benefit the love of our children. And Ms. Bankston, I'd like for you to open it up for me, us. The holidays are coming.
Yes.
Thanksgiving is past, Christmas, my aunts done already told me. My teacher always give me some cookies and this little care packages. My teacher give me socks, grandma. I got gloves. We don't have that now. Children are telling me that with Martin Luther King Day coming up, all of these holidays, and how they're going to show what you all have taught. So help me with that, Ms. Bankston, please.
Well, one thing that I can say is that I believe that our educators will still try their very best to make sure that their children have a Christmas. I know it. I know it. I know they're going to whatever type of socially distanced, prepackaged Christmas party, walk through, everybody in their sides of the room, pajama day with your mask on. I already know it's going to happen. I already know it. And I'm excited about it because our children still need to be celebrated. They still need to be loved on. They still need to have the comfort and joy of Christmas with so many different tumultuous things. You noted earlier, your own grandchildren have said, I don't like seeing my teacher on TV. And so they are having to do that. I know that our leaders are going to weave in our virtual students in some type of way to celebrate with them as well. I already know what's going to happen. And so while it may not be everybody coming together and, go up to the cookie tray and get that or whatever, it's going to look different, but I know it's going to happen. I know that there will be toy drives. I know that there will be, baskets given to families just like they did at Thanksgiving. I know that there will be these things of outreach that schools are going to do to continue to extend their arms to the families of the students that go there and to the people of the community. So that really goes without saying. I really think that, it's going to be a good thing to see all the pictures. You can look at any one of these schools' Facebook pages and their
Yes.
websites to see the pictures, because I know that they will be coming. Some schools are doing, walkthroughs where students are going to be, having different displays and just a lot of different things that are going to be happening. While it may not be the normal Christmas program where all the parents get to come and see their kids do a performance, some people may be doing some pre-recorded things and posting them for families to see. I just know that as with any person that we've seen in this time, people are going to want to celebrate in some type of way. So, and then the other thing that I think about too, MLK Day has always been a day on, it's a day of service, even leading up to MLK Day. And then Black History Month has always been something that, we make efforts to plan ahead of time so that we have activities throughout the month. And so I believe that the perspective this year will be one of remembrance, one of celebration, one of retelling of our story from days past, one of celebrating what we have right now. I know that there will be an intermingling of the history of African Americans and the present of African Americans in this time. Our schools, our leaders do a very good job at making sure that our students are educated holistically. I was in an assembly the other day, probably last month sometime at one of the schools, and the school leader was talking about telling students about where they come from, telling students, it was like all the students were seated, socially distanced, of course, on the floor, and he was orating. He was telling them the story of, where they came from. And, like I think it was Miss Dillard that already said, don't sit on your degree right now. So I had to not be Miss Bankston looking to see who was separated, who had their mask on. I had to really look at that this educator, this principal took the time in his school assembly to talk to these students. And the way that he was doing it, he was telling them the story. He was telling them, we've come from here, and he was talking to them about Africa, and he was telling them about how people came to be. And, it was refreshingly surprising, surprisingly refreshing, I should say, to see in the middle of a school day, this type of celebration happening. And then I guess from previous lessons, students were able to tell him what they remembered from before. So I know that the celebrations are coming, and what greater time to remember not only the advocates of the African American community from days past, but those that are making an impact now, and even celebrating some heroes locally, people that are doing things locally. And I honestly, would like to be able to celebrate our leaders of our schools, because what you ladies are doing, your students are going to remember you for the rest of their lives. They're going to remember you for the rest of their lives. They're never going to forget. And they're going to remember not only how you made them feel, but the things you've done for them. You may not even be thinking about the things that you've done and how you've spoken to them or what you've made them think about. But these are things that are going to make an everlasting mark in their hearts. And so I just know, that as we prepare to celebrate Black History Month and Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, that it won't just be commercial, and it won't be business as usual. It won't be just the normal. I know that it's going to be a marvelous display of celebrating all of our lives, all of Black lives, everybody.
You're so correct, because some of my children have reached out to me and said that the teachers are, you guys have been sharing with them to watch. Uh, mm, oh goodness, help me, Lord, help me. Our first woman, African American woman, Black president, vice president, and to hear what they've seen from watching that was awesome. It's awesome. So they do hear us, but believe me, they hear us, and I want to thank you all for even sharing it. I mean, they've called out names. My teacher said, Grandma, I told my teacher that this year I'm not going to be Michelle Obama. I'm going to be Kamala Harris this year. My teacher told us to watch it and this and that. So see how we've taken the stressful, the negative, the pain, and turn it into joy. And to hear a 5-year-old say she want to be like Michelle Obama and Kamala Harris, teachers, mwah, and they've already told me y'all got surprises for them. I told them, I don't know. Yes, you do. No, I don't. And you all have spoken about it, because we got to put some joy in it. Our babies need some joy. I mean, joy. So, Miss Miles, let me hear how you feel. I'm just loving y'all.
Yeah, so a lot of what Ms. Bankston was talking about, of course, we have getting our babies together for the holidays. You think we wouldn't do that? Of course. Yeah, so we just got to be a little bit more, strategic, and a little bit more, do a lot more planning, but of course we'll do that for our kids. So Akron Prep, we're just doing a drive-through toy drive. We heard the grandparents, because a lot of our babies, like I shared before, are living with grandma, grandpas, and aunties, and they call me up like, Principal Miles, what you got for us? Do you got any organizations or anything that can help us out? And of course, I hear them, because they're family. That's family. And so we reached out and we partnered with ACCEL. We got some of our community sponsors together. Dr. Jackson even gave. And we are buying toys, and we're buying toys for each grade, and we're gonna do a little drive-through. They can come out, whoever you got in your car. You can bring your cousins, Ray, anybody. We're gonna give everybody in that car some toys, so that, and they're gonna be wrapped up, put them under the tree, because we don't want anyone to go without. And we're gonna pass out food as well. If you do the whole Santa thing, you can take a picture with Santa if you want to. You don't have to. And we're going to do that. And so that's one of the things that we just want to do that. We're not going to stop giving. We're not going to stop reaching out. And that brings joy. We got to have that joy factor around the holiday season, in and out of the building. So we'll do that. Of course, we have Pajama Day. You know that, Ms. Bankston. So as far as Black History Month and Martin Luther King, Junior Day and all of that, we are going to do what we always do, but we're going to, ramp it up a lot. We have decided this year to, depending upon the weather, to try to have some type of program outside. If not, if we can't do that, we're going to have it virtually. We have partnered with Family First, and they have a Baba, which I don't know if you're familiar with that, African term, and they come in and he does like African drumming and all of that, and speaking to the ancestors. And he's going to, they're going to come in prior to and teach all of our scholars about Kwanzaa and different things, even though I know it's, into later on, but they need to learn about that and why we're doing that. And they're going to learn all about different things and why we do what we do and who we are as a heritage. Because sometimes we don't do that. We focus so much, or we have one little program and we don't have enough about the month of the Black history. We don't have enough of that. So all grades K through 8, we're going to have a whole month full of different types of celebrations around that. And so I'm excited. And of course, we'll post all kind of things on our Facebook page for you all to be able to see that.
I'm excited too. Prior to the pandemic, I've been in my garb over 25 years. So when I go into the schools, it's amazing. Her from Africa. I see her.
Yes, yes.
And when I come in at Kwanzaa time, Kwanzaa.
Yes.
And I get so tickled, Black History, whenever, it doesn't matter. When I go into the school, they didn't told them, this is Miss Lady Gilmore. Nobody called me Miss Lady Gilmore. And I could hear the like 5th and 6th graders. She from Ghana too.
Uh,
But it's so, it makes me feel so good that you principals have instituted this history into your school. So when they see somebody like me coming in, Baba, I love him. And when he comes in with the drums and all of that, you all have prepared them to be connected with us.
right.
And it's so overwhelming to see the amount of our children that know our history.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you all so very much, ACCEL Schools. Thank you so very much. And I noticed when I was preparing questions, I wanted to see how you all address different situations that's going on in the schools and different opportunities, and you all have hit it dead on the head. And I like the camaraderie between the 4 of you. It really works. Working together really, really works. It really does. And to put your personal life aside, we can't leave that out, because we do have families. Then you bounce back and love my babies I'm sending to school. And it is awesome. And to have this interview today at this particular time, you know how many people need to be uplifted today? At this very morning, we all been stuck, shoveled, can't get out. That was another thing on top of the pandemic, COVID, and all this. Now I can't go outside, play in the snow. They tell me at school at recess time, you all let them make snowmen and you know, all of this stuff that they're not able to do now. But thank God for technology. That's all I can say. And I'm trying not to cry. I'm very sensitive when it comes to my babies. Daughter Miss Dillon, no, I'm sensitive when it comes to my babies, because guess what? They didn't ask to come in. They didn't dial it up, cell phone, text you, I'm coming in. They didn't have that opportunity. So we're getting ready to close. And I really know that you all going to give us such a warm closing to encourage our babies at the ACCEL school system. We have you up already, Ms. Miles. Can you start? And then we'll go to Ms. Goss, then we go to Ms. Bankston, and then we'll go to Ms. Dillard. Okay?
I think
Go ahead.
in all of us are here for all of our school babies, and we love them. We have dedicated our lives to this. This is not just a Monday, Friday, 9 to 5 job. This is a 24/7 job. Even when we're in the midst of our own families, if we get a call, I just got a call last night that one of my school babies didn't get picked up from the bus stop. So I stopped what I was doing and drove to be able to be there just so they wouldn't be, taken in by the police. And take them to their house. This is a calling that we have in our lives, and it's servant leadership. And we serve. We are called to serve the community. And I know each one of these ladies do the same thing, and we do it day in and day out. And we do it with pure joy, because we know that we're back to the community that helped raise us, that we grew up in. And so as this holiday season approaches, just don't, I don't want anyone to feel alone. Reach out to any one of these school leaders that's within your community, because we are here and we definitely are here to help you.
Thank you. Ms. Goss?
One, I just want to say thank you for allowing us this platform just to speak freely. I want to thank all the ladies on this call, especially Ms. D and Ms. Miles. They have helped me a lot. But the one thing that I do want to say is, to my families that are listening, and to anyone, reach out to us. If you feel that you are just stuck, if you feel that maybe the school isn't supporting you like you think or want them to, reach out to us, because we are here for you. And a lot of times our parents just don't know how, or they don't want to seem like they're asking for handouts or anything like that. A lot of times people don't want you in their business. But just know that we are here to support you. We're part of the community. We're going through the same things that you all are going through in our families, in our lives. We all have family members who lost jobs also. We're all struggling the same way. We have kids. Our kids are in our houses doing schoolwork. We got to take our kids to work with us to do schoolwork. We're all going through it together. So my biggest thing is just us as a community. We all have to come together. We have to be positive. It's a lot going on in the world. My whole mission is being positive. We go through too much for us to be fighting among each other. And that's one thing that we do as Black women. We always fight among each other, but let's start building each other up and lifting each other up and working together. It starts with us at the school. Our kids see us more than they see their families sometimes. We see each other more than we see our families sometimes. So I just appreciate being here. This is ministry for me. And this is what I feel like God put me on this earth to do. And I feel like I'm here for this reason and for this purpose. So I thank you for just allowing us this platform.
Ms. Bankston?
Absolutely. I echo the sentiments of Ms. Darlene and Ms. Ashley. I appreciate everything, even Ms. Denisha, everything that everyone brought to speak about today, because I do believe that we were able to speak from the heart. I know that we started off our school year, with a lower number of students that wanted to be in traditional, and now we have more families that need traditional learning at this time. So ACCEL Schools continues to provide those options for parents if you need to have your child in school for any reason. We know that the concern is not just about COVID and about social emotional learning and about, the disparities of the Black community. And so we're here to help address those things, and we're here to help support in those areas. It's not an easy task. We're definitely, as you can hear, the heart of every educator here. We're passionate about what we do. We're committed to allowing families to make the choice for where they want to attend. But the long and short of it is that we are here to educate. It is our ministry. It is our purpose. I can't even go into the story of how I got into education, but I'll tell you that it was because I knew it was my calling to do so. And so being equipped with that means that every day won't be easy, but I know that at the end of the day, I will have given everything that I could have given, and we'll start again tomorrow to try again another day. So thank you to everyone. I hope that your listeners are encouraged to know that the educators at ACCEL still care about our students, and we care about our families. So we're here for you guys.
Thank you. Ms. Dillard?
There's an old adage that says it takes a village. In order to have that village be in play, everyone has to pick up not only their own mat, but maybe assist the neighbor with their mat as well. To be an educator during this time is synonymous with being an activist. And that's something I say all the time. You got to be down for the cause to be an educator right now. And change only comes when there is sincerity and there is truth and purpose. So families, call your schools, reconnect with them if you haven't talked to them in a while, and keep nurturing that relationship, because we are truly, truly all in this together. And that's the only way we are going to get through this school year and help our babies be successful. Speaking from us over here at Lake Erie Preparatory School, the Falcons are here to love on you in this area. Contact us at 216-453-4556 and let us help you find a school if we are not the one for you.
Thank you. That's what I'm getting ready to do. I'm going to call out your name. Give me your school and the phone number. Ms. Dillard just gave us the school. Ms. Miles?
Akron Preparatory School, 330-247-6232.
Ms. Goss?
Euclid Preparatory School, our number is 216-750-2070.
Last but not least, Ms. Bankston?
I'm going to ask our listeners to visit the websites because I don't know those numbers off the top of my head. However, STEAM of Warrensville is steamwarrensville.org. Wright Preparatory Academy is wrightprep.org. Cleveland Arts and Social Sciences is Cleveland Art SOCSCI.org, and Cleveland Preparatory Academy is clevelandprep.org. You can visit any ACCEL school and kind of link around there to get to the school of your choice, but we do have schools in nearly every area of the state of Ohio to suit the needs of any parent.
Thank you all so very much. I was delighted to be your host today, Lady Gilmore, Queen on the scene. And yes, it takes a village to raise my babies and to continue the legacy. Peace.